everyone, it's Jennifer from Flux. In this video, I'm going to show you how to crochet these super cute, fabulous fringe earrings. These only take a few minutes to make. There are just 4 little fringes on each one of these, and I've used some very inexpensive embroidery floss. So this is stuff I 100% had on hand, and you can really get creative with these. And again, they're super easy to make. Now the finished earring is about 2 inches tall, but you can customize them if you want them a little shorter by cutting the fringe shorter or making it very long as well if you want a different look. So let's get started. For this project, you'll need a pair of French hooks, or some people call them ear wires. You'll need 2 of those. You'll need 2 jump rings. Now these normally come in big packs. They're just little metal rings with an opening that are normally used to connect pieces together. And I have these little hoops with a loop at one end. They were in a multi-pack in the jewelry aisle of the craft store. You'll also need some embroidery floss, about a skein. Now, I use the DMC floss, and it's very inexpensive. I think it's about 20 cents a skein, and it comes in a million colors. This is kind of like a rusty orange color. You'll need a pair of scissors and then some jewelry pliers. I like to use 2 when I open jump rings. I like to hold 1 in each hand and kind of bend them open that way, but just 1 would be fine, and they don't have to be jewelry pliers. They can be just household needle nose pliers as well. So let's get started. We're going to do the fringy part first. One other supply I wanted to mention is some glue. To give these little fringes, which are just essentially knots on this hoop, a permanent bond so that they don't slip and slide around, you may want to grab some glue. You could use a little dab of hot glue, but I have some clear glue I'm going to be using. And what you'll do is flip them over to the back and just kind of with your finger, you could just sort of like brush it on, and that'll make a permanent bond for your knots so they'll stay in place as you wear them. And I'm just going to grab one of the hoops to begin. So what you'll want to do, now this is almost a full skein. I used a little bit of it and then my skein sort of like fell apart. So what we're going to do is just kind of open it up. But if you have a skein like how it comes in the store like this, locate the end here at one end of your skein and you can just pull it like yarn, okay? But mine is bundled a little bit. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the fringes. We're going to put a series of fringes along the edge here, and then we're going to kind of like bundle them up into the hoop, okay? So what we're going to do is pull a length. Now a ruler might be helpful too if you're not sure, but pull a length about 3 inches and then fold it in half and then fold it in half again. And then cut. Okay, then you're going to kind of wrap it around your finger and grab your hoop over here, and then you'll have this loop at the top. Send the loop through the middle of this hoop, and then what you're going to do is put the ends through that loop. Okay, and then pull tight. It's going to be longer than it needs to be, but that's okay because we're going to give everything a trim. Some will be shorter, some will be longer. Okay, so we're just going to do a series of them around the bottom of this hoop, okay? So let's, now if you want to be even, you could put 1 on one side, 1 on the other hoop, 1 on one hoop. So let's do a couple more of these together and then we'll kind of depart and do our own thing. Okay, so measure a piece about 3 inches. And then fold it in half, and then fold it in half again, and cut with your scissors. Now wrap the piece that you just made around your finger, and then you're going to put it through the loop, kind of open up that loop with your finger. If you're having trouble, if it's a little bit fiddly, try cutting it 4 inches. You can always cut more off, okay? And then put it that end through that loop and pull it tight, okay? Just like that. Now your hoops, you can, if you have a favorite side, you could use one side or the other. It's up to you. All right, let's do one more together and then we'll kind of depart to work on this on our own, okay? So once more, you're going to measure 3 inches about, fold it in half again, and then you're going to cut with your scissors. Wrap that around your finger to make a loop. Now grab one of your earrings and put that loop through the center of the hoop that you have. And then you're going to put that end through that loop. Again, if it's a little fiddly, try cutting it longer. I think any shorter than this would be too hard. And then give it a nice tug, like tighten it up nice and snug against that hoop, okay? Now we're just going to repeat until you have the whole bottom filled on both earrings, okay? So let's go ahead and work on our fringe and then we'll rejoin in just a bit. Okay, I went ahead and put on some fringe. Now I did 4 on each one. If you want to fill up the whole thing, feel free. If you want to mix up the colors, it's a really fun way to get creative. Now, what you'll have to do too is decide, let me just, I think it's focusing on the one behind me. Decide if you like this side better or this side better. This one is like more knots, so figure out which look you like better. Now, before we do any trimming, let's go ahead and put on the hooks to make them into earrings. So grab your pliers. And again, like I mentioned before, I like to hold one in each hand. So I'm going to grab a jump ring and I'm going to put it on one plier and then I'm going to use the other one to kind of open it up. Okay. Now put it in however your hoop is and then hook your earring onto it. Now you'll need to be conscious of how it's going to hang. So put the hook on the way you want to wear it. Okay, and then you want to take your pliers again and close that ring back up. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing for our other earring. I'm going to grab your, there's a little cut in there where the opening is, so just make sure that's at the top. Bend it open, put that through the loop, and then put your earring through there as well. Just loop it right on there. And then take your other plier and bend that jump ring back together so that it meets up. I need to bend this one in a little bit. I kind of opened it up too much. Okay. And our earrings are just about done. So the last thing we want to do is get our little fringe all straightened out, like so. And then we're going to cut our fringe, okay? So we want to just make sure, the most important thing is to make sure we first cut all these loops out. And then you want to make sure your earrings are symmetrical. So whatever you do to one side, you want to make sure the other side mirrors that side, okay? So kind of comb your fringe down. These kind of remind me of little dream catchers. They're very cute. Okay, and then you just trim the bottoms. Just going to get those bottoms nice and even. Now, you can go straight across, or you can kind of play with it a little bit and add a little curvature on there. Let's get those crumbs out of the way. And we have enough if we wanted to make another pair as well. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to straighten that fringe out. All right, and then what we want to do is lay this nice and flat on our surface, and we're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to trim all these little loops out. You can kind of even sort of like sandwich them up together. Just lay them nice and flat and give them all a haircut that way too. And our cute little earrings are done. So as you wear these, the embroidery floss will kind of like relax a little bit. But as you can see, these only took a few minutes to make and they look super cute. I can't wait to wear them. Now, one more tip I wanted to give you is that if you want to, the embroidery floss is very silky and it moves and it slides. And these are just little knots that we put. If you want to, you can flip your earrings over and just put a little dot of glue along the back, either hot glue or some clear glue, and those knots will stay put permanently. So just a little tip to keep everything permanently in place as you wear your earrings. So that is how you crochet the Fabulous Fringe Earrings. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the subscribe button to get all the latest Flux video updates. Thanks again!